Hello, welcome to Luigi's Gaming Lounge. It's Luigi Ain't Mario, and today we are recording episode 46. I'm joined this evening by Trip Hazard, aka
Barnaby, hello.
And also joined by Terrors, aka
Sam, hello.
Hello. So, episode 46 is going to be based around Hogwarts Legacy, a title that myself and I know Sam, I'm not sure about Barnaby, but I know me and Sam are excited. We haven't really spoken much, Barnaby, about Hogwarts Legacy. But
Not yet, at least.
Not yet. I mean, is it something you're looking forward to, Barnaby, or...?
I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, so no, it's not high up on my playlist, unfortunately.
No, that's
but
fair enough.
I'm open to being converted.
Yeah, okay. Well, just before we do sort of dive into the Hogwarts Legacy details and whatnot, I have been playing a new game that one of our guests, Tony Lisa, was a big fan of, and that is Dark Souls 3. My goodness. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, but I was not prepared for this level of hardness. It's my first ever experience of a Souls game.
How many hours you put in so far?
Not that many, because I only just started today. However, it's so like I've not wanted to chuck my controller out the window this much in a long time.
Told you yesterday, I was like, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, however, but the thing is, even though I kept dying, I just found myself like, I was like, oh, just one more go. And about 30 goes later, I'm still doing it, you know, so it's obviously got something in that game that just pushes you to keep trying. So there is a bit of magic in those games, and I'm not giving up just yet. Not just yet.
I think definitely the first one is the best, though.
Oh, okay.
Even though I don't really play them, but just judging on the lore and the art style, because there's quite a bit of backstory in the Dark Souls games as well, and it's not immediately apparent. You have to really dig deep to uncover all these little bit of history, in-game history, and I think that's one of the coolest features of it. And I think the atmosphere as well. Even as a non-player, you can appreciate the atmosphere that developers put into it. It creates this immersive atmosphere that's unlike most of the games. So yeah, I really appreciate what the developers do, but it's just the gameplay is not for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Have you two this last week? Have you started any new games at all, or?
I've actually not been very well, to be honest.
No, you haven't. Have you,
why
son?
I missed last week's podcast because I was ill. Not COVID, thankfully, just a horrible cold and.
Just Ebola, nothing serious.
Yeah, nothing too bad. Sore throat kind of thing. But starting to feel a bit better today actually, which is the first time I've felt better in about the last 10 days. So it's quite a nasty one lingering. But no, in terms of games, I was thinking about I'm gonna probably continue on with Ninja Gaiden because on my Switch,
I did play the first one.
Well, I bought the Master Collection, which has all three of them on, so 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which I've already played. I played those back when they came out and played through them. Again, they're very difficult games. Probably borderlining onto the difficulty of Dark Souls, to be honest. Certainly on their hardest mode, I would argue that it was equally, if not just,
Yeah,
in some
they
cases,
are brutal.
In some cases more difficult.
Yeah, I tried to play through the first Ninja Gaiden, but I got stuck. I think I made it maybe through the first third or 50% of the game, and then it just got too ridiculous for me.
Yeah, it is it's insane. It's very, very difficult. But so I'm thinking about picking up where I left off. Picking up from where I left off on that one.
Go for it.
Why not?
So that was what I had in mind. But apart from that, no, nothing else from me.
How about yourself, Barnaby? Have you managed to get any gaming in this week?
No, I have not, I'm afraid, no.
Adult life sucks.
Yeah, it really does. Although I'm looking for, I need to start playing Mario Kart because of the new tracks. I've bought them all, they're ready to go, but again, because I've not been very well, I just haven't really had the energy to just want to pick up, just sit there, concentrate, and try and play games.
I thought you get them included, Sam.
Only if you've got the family pass expansion. Sorry, not the family pass. It's basically like the upgraded expansion online thing. So if you've got like the upgrade,
have you not?
I have now. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. I've got that now, but
you.
if you haven't got that, then you have to buy it separately as like a DLC.
Yeah.
But if you have that upgraded expansion, which gives you access to like the Nintendo 64 games and some other stuff, I think, then you get that as well. So kind of worth getting, to be honest. Like, you know, if you've got Mario Kart, you might as well just get the expansion, because then you get the Nintendo 64 games as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you're planning on getting the DLC, you might as well just go for the, like you say, the expansion, I suppose. Okay, so I just thought we'd have a little quick catch up on the gaming situation over the last week. But we'll move on to the main subject, which is obviously Hogwarts Legacy. Again, I myself am quite excited by this. As I was sort of looking through, finding out more information, my excitement just built, to be honest, because, well, I've taken some notes, and I'm going to sort of read them out and see, not read them all out, but basically I'll stop waffling on. Here we go. So Hogwarts Legacy is an RPG set in an immersive open world. So open world RPG, can't go wrong with those normally. You can craft your own adventure. You craft your own adventure as a 5th year Hogwarts student. So it's not like you're new to the school. So I'm guessing as you play the game, people already know you. You're not having to sort of get to know everybody. However, actually, there was a section that I saw where it does state that you can make new friends who'll be able to teach you abilities and act as a companion when you go on quests and adventures. I find that quite interesting. It's almost a bit like in some games where you can sort of recruit people to come with you, I suppose. And I'm wondering if the different sort of friends that you have, they may have different abilities themselves. So you can sort of pick and choose who to take on what quest and what adventure. So yeah, that sounds quite interesting for myself. Another interesting thing, the game itself, it's stepping away from the timeline of the books, and because the game tells an original story that's set actually in the 1800s. So again, it's just like, for me, it's just like tick, 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 tick. Because personally, I don't want a copycat of the movies. I don't want that's already been and gone, hasn't it? They made the games of the movies. However, how they're sort of doing this open world within sort of the Harry Potter world as such.
Reminds me a bit of Fable, but Harry Potter style almost.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe from it as well.
Yeah, a little bit with the, I'd imagine there's going to be sort of side quests that you can do, and obviously a main storyline.
Yeah, that's it.
You create your character and you craft your own sort of path as to who you are, and I'm not sure if I've got this right, but I'm pretty sure you can choose, you based on the decisions that you kind of make and the way that you go about progressing through your time at Hogwarts, you will end up being either a dark witch wizard or a good witch wizard. I don't know. Is that a thing,
that might be the case, because in the official FAQs on their website, it indicates that players will have to make decisions as they play.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm sure I read, or something came up on. It may have even been on the.
It states.
Play.
Yeah, it states stating on there that players will also encounter missions and scenarios that will pose difficult choices and determine what they stand for. So that's quite an open-ended explanation.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought it was going down that sort of route.
Quite possibly.
Again, it's very much like the Fable. Well, it is like Fable, exactly.
Yeah,
do you know what
I
I mean?
think if they've got the branching path lines for the story, I think that will add extra value to it. Especially if they have an in-game consequences. If they're fairly inconsequential, it's a little bit bland. But if they have like a major effect on your character and the story, then yeah, I'm all for that.
Which gives it like huge replay value as well, because the amount of times
Well, it just makes it, I think, as well. Yeah, you're right, but I think it also makes it feel more immersive as well, like you have an impact on the world.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. And the amount of times I go back and play, say, like Fable, for example, I play through it, but then you'd want to start again because you'd be like, well, I can make so many different decisions to see where that's going to take me or what that's going to do. So that could, and the sheer size of the game is just, it's just mind blowing. Like when you see like from that state of play video, when you're inside the castle, it just looks, to me personally, I think it looks amazing. I mean, obviously, grew up watching Harry Potter. I mean, how old was I? I mean, the books obviously came out in the early 90s, and then you've got the films, which came out in the early 2000s. So, again, it was everything I grew up with. So it was kind of like seeing it now in the way that they've been able to recreate it with next generation graphics. I think just looks unreal. Like,
100%. And that state of play that you mentioned, I think it was a week ago today that they showed on the state of play, because obviously it was dedicated for Hogwarts Legacy. They showed 14 minutes of gameplay that was played on PS5, and it covered everything from character creation, combat.
It was a brilliant video.
Yeah, classes and exploration. So it was. I think they really.
I think there's so much to the game, and I genuinely do, and I think that state of play was their way of just saying, look up, like they know they've created something pretty special. Like, and I saw there was a bit of like further, a few people complaining about it in some of the comments and some of the stuff, which I know you get with everything, but I was well surprised because I didn't have anything I could fault with that. Like I watched the whole thing, and I was like, that is everything that a Harry Potter fan could ever want out of a game. Like it just looked unbelievably good. Like it took everything that was great about Harry Potter, and then to me added in more stuff that made it even better.
Yeah, because in a sense you are creating your own story, your own adventure.
Yeah. It's like you're basically, you're obviously not Harry Potter. You're the actual student, and your craft. You're forging your own path within your time at Hogwarts, which again,
you're writing your own story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what's made it even better. Like you were saying, you're glad it's not like a full-on copycat, and I am as well. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously the original Harry Potter, unbelievable, and also the games on the I think when they even come out on the original PlayStation, they were brilliant for their time. But yeah, they seem to have taken this to a whole new level and really taken advantage of next gen capabilities with it. And I'm really excited. I
have got a really good feeling about it. I think it is going to be, as me and you, Sam, mentioned when we spoke a little bit earlier, it's sort of going back to that grassroots single player, just that single player experience that we all knew and loved from like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, even as far back as NES and SNES, with the likes of Zelda and things like that, for example. Something you can just totally immerse yourself in.
Definitely, yeah. I think the only people that still do that on that level is Nintendo with Zelda and stuff like that. There's not. Don't get me wrong, there are other developers that have some amazing games on PlayStation, exclusives and that kind of are touching on that, but I feel like just looking at this, it really sort of gave me a bit of nostalgia, like just watching the video, like in a weird kind of way. Do you know what I mean? To feel like, this is just going to be like a classic, like you say, single player game that you can get lost in, and
you could speak to your mates and say, "Oh, have you found this yet? Have you seen this place?"
Yeah.
That's the sort of, that's like I know nostalgia exactly. There.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, and I'm really looking forward to it. The mechanics look pretty good. I only hope that my only sort of worry or concern would be that based on just watching the video, there seems to be a lot of content and a lot of detail and a lot of things in the game. And I feel like, I hope it's not too glitchy. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my only.
Well, hopefully.
It turns out to be another Cyberpunk.
Oh, don't. I'm hoping. No. I'm hoping they've taken the time they need. But because it was supposed to release, I believe, 2021. got pushed back to 2022, and I think it even at some point it did get pushed back to 2023, and then brought forward again. So they must be doing something right. Hopefully.
From when it originally was like rumored or announced and was going around, I had it. I was under the impression that we were going to get like a WoW style, like a World of Warcraft style of Harry Potter. So I thought it was going to be like an MMO basically, but Harry Potter style.
Oh, okay.
And I was all for that as well. I was like, well, that'd be awesome. Do you know what I mean? A bit like an Elder Scrolls Online or something like that, but with Harry Potter. And I was like thinking, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine like you're all going around, you're going on raids, doing like, quests, but you're traveling across like Hogwarts, and then you're going from Hogwarts to like obviously all sorts of locations. And that was kind of what I thought it was going to be like to begin with. And yeah, obviously it's turned out to be nothing like that, and it's this. And to be honest with you, I'm not complaining at all. Like I actually feel like it's actually better that it's like this. It's a breath of fresh air. Do you know what I mean? Like it's in the sense of we're going back to some old roots here of single player gaming and just
I think
no microtransactions as well, which I thought was a good touch.
Well, the thing is, I think we live in a day and age with gaming now where the majority of games are live service games, always online games, whereas with this being a solely single player experience, like you said, it is that going back to the basics of of consoles from years ago as such. I think it's definitely given me that sort of vibe, and as you already said, Sam, I think it is going to be a breath of fresh air, providing they deliver what everyone's hoping for. But so we mentioned that you can go on quests and adventures. But part of the main storyline, you'll be working with Professor Fig, and you'll be investigating a goblin rebellion while embarking on a dangerous journey to uncover a hidden truth of the wizarding world. So that sounds interesting already. And
that would be good.
Yeah, so obviously, Hogwarts is a school, so within school hours, you'll be learning to cast spells and charms, brew potions, and attend, several different classes. But your out of school hours, so your downtime, you're going to be free to explore the school, including some iconic locations featured in the films. There are also going to be some locations we haven't seen before. One example is the Hufflepuff Common Room. So that's not actually been featured in the films before. So we'll be seeing that for the first time in the game. And going back to Sam, you mentioned about possibly, choosing sort of, the dark side, the good side, whatever. Another piece of information which may lead you to think that way as well is you're actually going to be able to choose which house you want to be part of rather than being forced into a certain house. So if you want to play through it in a more of a dark way, maybe you choose Slytherin. I don't know if
that could be a way of them. Again, taking that route of becoming a dark witch or wizard or a good one. But again, and that could also open it up to whether or not you'll end up just following the same kind of path and storyline based on the house. I don't know. I'd imagine you probably would, because that would be a lot of content to have to then go through all four houses. But either way, I think there will still be bits in it that will be different based on you being Slytherin or something else. I'm sure there will be, like decisions that you can make or people that you can meet to do different quests and that based on, obviously someone who's in Slytherin house will probably be assigned a slightly different path and quest to what someone who in Gryffindor would be. But although they may be similar, I think there will be some little differences in there, which again, I'm all for that as well. I think that's another, it gives it adds a bit more of a replay value there, doesn't it? In case you want to go back and play as a different house or whatever.
Definitely. So as well, you're not going to be limited to just Hogwarts. You're going to be able to visit the village of Hogsmeade, which is a neighbouring village to Hogwarts, as well as other hamlets dotted throughout the countryside. The locations will be populated with NPCs, non-playable characters, and there'll be side quests that you can sort of get into at your own sort of leisure as you please. And it's also going to have dynamic seasons and climates, which, that's really going to bring the game to life, isn't it? Even more so. The surrounding area is going to be filled with magical beasts. Some have been corrupted and are aggressive, while others are at risk from poachers. You can choose to rescue anything you find cute and cuddly and take care of it back at the school. I mean, that's going to... I think that's definitely going to be...
That's it, it's sold.
Well, things like having pets within a game or, things like that, it's actually quite a wanted, sought-after feature for a lot of games.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think that alone, could possibly draw somebody in thinking, I can go out and find these cute and cuddly creatures whilst battling these big ogres or whatever they are.
I think I'd rather have the pet ogre.
Well, you never know, you might be able to. But yeah, you're also going to get an opportunity to get around the world a lot faster than on foot, because you're also going to be able to travel via a broom. But the only thing is, there's been no mention of playing Quidditch. So we don't really know whether Quidditch is going to be included as something you can.
That's why they have the delays.
They obviously do have the broom capability with flying around. But
yes, yeah.
I think it would be like a no-brainer to include it. It's like
I'm pretty sure.
I'm
pretty sure they will.
The series.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those things that they might still be working on because
be paid for deal, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, when you showcase a game like that, if you leave Quidditch out, for example, I'm guessing from a game development standpoint, the Quidditch is sort of like something that you could probably leave more so towards last, because it may sort of almost act as like a game mode within the game, if that makes sense. So if they are leaving it towards the end, then in my sort of view, I can understand why. But yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything other than obviously the release date. We haven't got an official release date. All we've got is holiday 2022, and that's basically around the sort of Christmas time. The platforms it's going to be releasing on is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. I assume with it being released on Switch, it's going to be through their cloud. You can get some of their games through the cloud, can't you? Like they're more graphically demanding games.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. There's what games? Let's have a really, really quick look. Did you not know that, Sam? I thought you would have known, being a big Nintendo fan.
To be honest, mate, I didn't know that, and reason being is, one, the cloud service would be completely useless for me.
Oh yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I have no reason to ever have thought about looking for it or whatever. And to be honest, without the games and that and the stuff that I follow, I've just never cropped up. So.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, you can get Resident Evil 7, and that's through the cloud only. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh wow, I had no idea. I didn't even know you could get Resident Evil 7 on the Switch.
Yeah, but again, it's cloud only. Hang on a moment. So actually, Resident Evil 7, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, are Japan only, apparently, because they've got I'm just looking here on nintendolife.com. So ones that you'd be able to get in the UK, for example, would be the game Control, Hitman 3, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Kingdom Hearts HD.
So some pretty good games then, by all accounts.
Yeah, there's not many. There's literally, I can count them on both my hands. So there's, there's less, about 10 or just under 10. But yeah, as I said, I mean, what's Sam? You obviously have a Switch. I mean, what's your view? Do you think that's going to be a cloud release? Because I can't see the Switch running that game natively, personally.
I honestly don't know. It may release and run at 30 FPS. Maybe that could be possible. My only thought, really, if it does release, it will run at 30 frames per second. But I don't think any Switch games run at 60, do they? I don't think they're all 30.
Not sure. One thing I will say though, I've realised it's coming out on PC. Can you imagine when the modding community gets hold of this game? Can you?
Yeah, it's gonna be It's gonna be insane.
It is gonna be. I mean, give it a good few years, and I think the modding community alone could probably turn that into a whole new game in itself. But but yeah, we'll see. It's not even out. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. I'm just so excited. Do you guys have anything else you want to say in regards to Hogwarts Legacy, or are you all good?
I think we've covered a lot of
everything that we know so far.
Yeah, we don't have a release date, do we? But I believe it's coming out in the
holiday.
summer.
Holiday 2022. Yeah.
Is it to winter? Is it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's a disappointment because I was hoping it was coming out in the summer. But no bother. That gives me more time to play Mario Kart and a list of other games that I still need to play.
Exactly. And I think what we'll do, we'll probably revisit Hogwarts Legacy a little bit closer to release. Obviously, we'll revisit it on the podcast and sort of do a more up to date sort of details and whatnot of the game. But other than that, for the Hogwarts Legacy, that's it for that part. And you know what's coming up now, don't we? It is Trash or Stash. Sam, Terrors, have you got yours prepared? Your Trash or Stash? Have you got your stash prepared?
Look, you always have to make out like I am not prepared. I am actually prepared, and I've got my stash. So I can go first, or Barnaby can go first, or you can go first. I don't mind.
Yeah, Sam, go for it.
Okay, so my stash for this week is prize, a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
It was on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure anyone who had a Super Nintendo or is a Nintendo fan will know exactly what this game is. And if it's not in your stash, then you've either not played it or you just don't know what you're talking about. But no, it was Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. So,
oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, so Super Metroid was basically you're a character called Samus, who's a woman, and you are set to go back to this planet. Basically, it's a planet that gets attacked by the Mother Brain, and they basically take control of what they call the Metroids. And the Metroids were basically these like super intelligent beings that had the ability to do things that were far beyond anything that any scientist or anyone else, for that matter, had ever seen across the galaxy, kind of thing. And they could be used for all sorts of different things, whether that be to heal people or to, just basically they were like so far advanced that they were like, obviously they would be well sought after, kind of thing. And the Mother Brain basically goes in, takes control of the Metroids, and you're mission really is to go back and first of all, go back and have a look over the planet and find out, what's going on. And you have to go through a bunch of different puzzle solving, boss fights. You get upgrades. You get like you wear a suit. It's basically, I don't know what you can compare it to, a bit like a sort of Halo style kind of suit, I suppose.
It's an armored exoskeleton.
That's it. Yeah, and you can get all sorts of different upgrades for it.
One of the suits, for example, is immune to fire, so you can walk through lava.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
and there'll be like areas in the game, like when you'll get to a certain area, but you know that you can't go in there because you'll be taking damage. But it will be relatively could be quite, relatively close to the beginning of the game-ish kind of stuff. But the idea is that you, obviously when you get these upgrades, you think, oh yeah, I need to go back there. And the game is just so well made and connected. It's just unbelievable. Like, it's, don't get me wrong, it's very hard. Like it's not an easy game by any means. And I would be very surprised if anyone who's never played it would be able to get through it without looking into a guide or looking online at a couple of bits. I'm not saying that do all of it, but if you can get through that game without looking at anything, then that is very, very impressive because it's very, very hard. More so the puzzle solving side of it, just trying to work out where you got to go next or what you've got to do. There isn't really any clues or hints to what you need to do or where you need to go. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just a really well-made game, and it still holds up so well today. It's a 2D platforming game, but it's it's just a really solid game, to be honest. I'd check.
Deserves a spot on your shelf, does it?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. That's. As a kid, I remember I never completed it as a kid, but I did go back and play it, in my sort of teenage years, and I managed to get through it. And I actually played through it not that long ago. I had a few playthroughs about 2 or 3 years ago. I played through it a few times, and just really good game. So definitely in the stash.
Awesome, thank you very much. Barnaby, can we have your stash for the week, please?
So jumping across formats at the time, so a similar kind of error, but on the Mega Drive instead. One of my favourite and most memorable adventure games, which is Another World. It was also released on Super Nintendo, and originally it was actually released on the Amiga. And what's quite notable about the development of this is actually the majority of work was just done by one guy. This is back in the era when you could have very small development teams or almost like individuals. I think it was just like one guy called Eric Kahi, a French guy, and all he did was hire like a programmer to do some of the additional work, I think, and some of the music. But the majority of the stuff he actually did himself, which is really impressive. But essentially it's a side-on, not quite like a platform, although it's a side-on perspective, but it's very cinematic. It just uses vector graphics rather than bitmap graphics, so it gives it a very distinctive style, all of its own. And you control the character directly using the gamepad. It's not a point-and-click adventure, but it kind of draws you in. So you're kind of like thrown into this alien world after an experiment goes wrong, and you have to kind of like make your way through it. But everything's left kind of like mysterious and unexplained, and you kind of have to like figure out how things work and how you get past the various challenges that you face. And even though it has very basic graphics and sound for the time, but again, it is a game that kind of generates this kind of atmosphere and this kind of almost like sense of wonder, because you can like see all the things happening in the background as well. And there's a certain kind of like almost like a backstory to the things that are happening, although nothing's ever explained fully. So it you're kind of left to piece it together in your imagination, and I think that's sort of like really clever, really sort of clever and grown up way of storytelling and world building.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like really impressed overall with the design. The gameplay is well very cinematic, so there's a lot of cutscenes. Or bits you think like every section is different, so there will be some repetition of tasks, but like almost every area that you get to, there'll be a new challenge to face.
Yeah.
And there'll be some completely bonkers stuff that you weren't expecting when you set out at the beginning of the game. Which I won't spoil, but yeah, I recommend it. And it's actually you can actually get the HD remaster on various platforms. I think it's available on PC, PS4. I think it's available on Xbox as well. But it was
awesome.
remastered for its 20th anniversary. So yeah, if you've not played it before, I do recommend it. One of the earliest adventure games, but one of, to my mind, the most impressive. And it did actually go on to inspire other game developers as well. Like I think both the developers of Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid have both cited Another World as an inspiration when they were developing their own games.
Oh wow, nice. So it definitely sounds
Whoa.
like it deserves a space on your shelf.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us your stash, Barnaby. Now, my stash of the week is The Godfather, the game. Did you two ever play that?
No.
Oh man.
No, I did not.
This is PS2 era we're talking here. Absolutely loved it. Basically, you don't follow the storyline of the movies. Basically, you create your own character, and literally you dress him how you want him dressed and everything. And I just remember having that feeling of dressing up my wise guy and just making my way up through the mob. And no, it was just I had many. Again, it's a game that I had many fun hours on, driving
So
around.
have they got some like RPG elements to it then as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, because you can actually you can unlock like new sort of fighting moves and stuff like that, and yeah, it definitely has got RPG elements in there. But yeah, for me, I mean that game just had a bit of everything that I enjoyed, and you could go and like take over a rival's racket and extort people and do all sorts of bribe the police and just do all sorts of stuff that obviously is famously known about the mob back in the day. I think we're talking sort of 40s, 50s era. But yeah, no, not much I can say. I mean, the people that have played it will know exactly what I'm saying. Those sort of era of games, like The Godfather. I mean, did either of you two play the Scarface game?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh
no.
man, you see, the people around me who I knew, see, they played The Godfather, they played the Scarface game. Honestly, and I tell you now,
Are you saying that we're not good enough?
No, but it's like in Scarface, and I'm sort of
Take it as a compliment, Barney.
I know I'm going off course here a little bit, but with Scarface,
We're not part of Luigi's like bargain bin friends.
with Scarface, it had a really cool drug dealing feature where you go and deal and make deals with cocaine and
Still
stuff.
calling Luigi.
Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. But anyway, that might have to be in a stash for another week, Scarface. But anyway, yeah, The Godfather for me is in my stash. Now, moving on, Sam, can you throw us your trash, please?
I can. It was on the Nintendo 64. It was a fighting game, and it was called Clay Fighter.
Oh, that one.
Which was awful,
Okay.
to say the least. I think it came out on the Mega Drive, to begin with. I don't know.
I think it was on the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, and then it was one of the sequels that was on the N64.
Yeah. I remember having it on the Nintendo 64, and it was called Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a good reason why it was called 63 and a third, because it just wasn't quite up to the 64 standard. It was just awful. It was so clunky. It was glitchy. It was just a bad game. Like, bearing in mind, you've got like games at the time like Tekken, Virtual Fighter, like Street Fighter had already obviously been about. Like there was so many games that like fighting games that were like obviously top tier games, and then they go and drop this, and you're like, what were you thinking? Like, why would you even think like this would remotely even compete? Or do you know what I mean? It was just whoever made it would. There was no point in making it. It definitely must have cost more to make than they made off it, because I'm telling you, like, it was just bad. Like, I can't really say anything else other than the fact that it was just clunky, glitchy.
Earthworm Jim was in it.
It was just awful, mate. Honestly, if you ever get a chance to watch a video or even just play it at some time, you'll know why it's in the stash. Like,
I mean, you mean the trash?
Sorry, the trash. That's what I mean. Yeah, you'll know why it's in the trash and not the stash. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's. You've even got me thinking it's in the stash. It's probably one of your games you'll have in the stash next week.
Yeah, I'll play it this week, and then it'll be in my stash.
But no, just a bad fighting game all round, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if there's anyone else that played it out there that, if you've got any positive things to throw at it or say, then please let me know, because I only have bad memories of that game. So, that's in my trash.
Yeah, well, it looks pretty horrendous, to be fair.
Yeah. Have you Googled it?
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, it wasn't good. But...
Anybody listening who hasn't seen the game before, jump onto Google now, type in Clay Fighter, and it should come up Clay Fighter 63 and a third. And it's you'll know. You won't even need to play it. Just look at the box, and you'll be like, right there, I'm definitely not playing that. Like, the box is enough, right, to know. I don't remember buying it. I'm going back so many years. I'm pretty sure I went round a friend's and he had it, and we played it, and or he might have lent me or something like that. But I know I played it a bit when I was younger, and it was just awful. So. That's definitely in the trash. It was that bad. It left an impression on you. So there you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just you were sort of when you think of what could go in the trash. And I'll be honest with you, most of the games I feel like I've played, there's not been that many that I've ended up coming across that I would put in my trash. I always find a trash is much harder than a stash for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I think hard enough and. I've tried to get them out. They're bad memories, mate. I've tried to wash them away. Forget about them. But no, it's that's in the trash, guys. So
thank you very much for that, Sam. Barnaby, can we have your trash, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So carrying on the theme. So the developer, the publisher for Another World, also published a similar game, different developer, but they also published Flashback as well, which actually probably gained a bit more popularity than Another World did, although I think in my mind Another World was a better game. But Flashback is okay. However, its sequel on the PS1 and PC back in 1995 was pretty terrible and forgettable. It got okay reviews at the time, but it was a 3D adventure game, so they made the move from 2D to 3D, but they lost the cinematic edge to it, really. All it was wandering around a space station, pretty much. And there were puzzles to solve. You'd shoot bad guys, but it wasn't cinematic. It was very basic. And when you look at other PS1 era games like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, whatever, they are so much better. And they do the whole 3D adventuring thing a lot better. So yeah, unfortunately, Delphine messed up with this one. And they never really, I think, regained their former glory with Another World and Flashback. I think they kind of lost their way around 1994 because they also published Shaq Fu as well, which is notoriously bad. But no, yeah, so pretty much after 1992, basically just everything that they ever published. But yeah, Fade to Black was notoriously, in my mind, bland. I was kind of looking forward to it because it was almost in that kind of same unofficial trilogy. You got the Another World, and you got Flashback. So really great with Another World. Pretty good with Flashback. Not as good, but still pretty good. But then they kind of went down the pan a bit with Fade to Black, and yeah, other than that, they're a bit forgettable. So yeah, I'd say that PS1 Fade to Black, yeah, definitely trash that one.
Nice, thank you very much, Barnaby, for your trash. But yeah, if anybody's got anything to say on those trashes, those stashes or trashes, don't forget to send us an email over, and you can do that by emailing luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. That's luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. Again, tell us whether you agree, disagree, or just pop by and say hello. But yeah, that's been our trash or stash for this week.
What about did you do your trash?
Oh no, I didn't, did I?
You didn't do you? I was
Yeah,
like,
no escaping, Luigi. Get back here and do your trash.
Oh my goodness, I totally. Do you know? I thought I
He's
had
like, oh
done.
my god, the Godfather was a trash. What have I done?
No, my
Mate, the only reason I like going on to these podcasts is to find out what your trash or stash is. That's all I'm literally bothered about.
yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking, but I am excited to hear it. So, what is it this time, bud?
Right, my trash of the week is, now this is going to probably be controversial for some people, but my trash is Far Cry Primal.
What?
Yeah, I tried it.
Honestly, I swear you do the opposite on purpose.
I tried it out, and yeah, it just wasn't hitting my buttons. I mean, I played it once, and it just hasn't drawn me back in. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's just got to go in the trash, you know.
Well, that's a weak effort this week. That's not even. That's like. That's just. I'm not accepting that.
What do you mean you not accept? Listen, I played it, right?
I played it once.
Initially, no. Initially, I was like, "Yeah, this is quite a good game." You know, different to the other Far Cry's, obviously, with it being set, you know, so many years ago. But I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't, you know, I can't help it. I just couldn't get into it. Just wasn't my thing, I'm afraid. So, yeah. But yeah,
it was actually one of the most more intriguing of the Far Cry series.
Oh, really?
I really, I really like kind of like the Stone Age setting.
Do you think I've not given it enough time? Maybe.
No, it's entirely up to you to choose whatever you think. But no, I think it's actually one of the best of the Far Cry series.
Okay.
Although I'm not really an expert, I've only played them a little bit. I played Far Cry 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Primal was the one I put the most effort into.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, I mean, as it stands at the moment, it's in my trash, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, again, you know, people, if you disagree with what I've said, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have done, email us over at luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. That's luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. So, guys, we're going to wrap up there, and that's been episode 46. Cool, they're coming at us fast and thick, these episodes. 46 already. But no, thank you very much, Sam, Barnaby, for joining me this evening.
Well, thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you both in episode 47 also. But until then, have a good time, guys. Have a good week. Peace and love, and see you later.